Hi, I'm Stephen Van Oy and welcome to Clarity Decision Mentoring and our Basic Meditation series. In previous videos, we've covered general motivation for wanting to meditate, giving you a sense of what you might get out of a meditation practice, and instructions on basic breathing meditation. So if you're brand new to meditation, you can certainly watch this video and get something out of it, but I would also encourage you to review those videos as well, either before and come back to this, or after watching this one, you'll be able to fill in some questions that you'll probably have. So I also would like to encourage you to pause the video at this time. If you don't have a notebook handy, you might want to go grab your notebook. The reason being, I'm going to give you a little bit of information that you may want to jot down to remember. And then also because in general, when you're meditating, you'll find that you have insights, you have ideas that you're very excited about. And you don't want to interrupt your meditation to write those down. If you have a notebook sitting next to you, then you can really calm yourself and just note, I can write that down afterwards. If it's really important, I'll definitely remember it. And so it's helpful both to record insights that you get when you're meditating, but also to help calm yourself and stay present with your meditation so you're not worried about losing those ideas. All right. So in this video, what I really want to do is emphasize the awareness of emotions, right? There are three kinds of distractions basically that we can have when we're meditating. The first one is just sensations that come through. They might be bodily sensations like pain, which is very difficult to ignore, and I wouldn't even necessarily use that term. We'll talk about that in another video. And there are also sensations of sound and sight, things that we try to minimize for, especially when we're learning to meditate, as they're hard to let go of, especially if they're constant. This morning I was meditating and the neighbors were mowing their yard throughout the entire meditation. So I had to work with that. Those are another story, and maybe we'll cover that in another video. The second kind of common distractions are really thoughts. They might be memories or thoughts that we're having about what's going on right in the moment, what we're going to be doing later, relationships, all kinds of thoughts come into our mind. And we need to practice realizing that we're caught up in thoughts, letting them go, and redirecting our attention. The third kind of distraction is the arisal of emotion. Okay? Now, these are not distinct from thoughts. Thoughts and emotions go hand in hand. But the emotion can be very strong and very prevalent, and you may be aware primarily, I'm feeling angry, resentful, hurt, bored, curious, joyful, connected to others. All these kinds of emotions can arise in our meditation practice and distract us from our breath. Okay? So yes, we want to become aware of where our attention is, realize we've wandered off, and bring our attention back to our breath. In this process, there's an additional benefit, particularly with relationship to emotions, because with the emotions, what we learn by doing this over time is that we can ride the emotion or surf that emotion. It'll come into our awareness either very quickly and feel like it just started right at maximum intensity, or build up, probably fueled by our engagement with thoughts, and then the emotions, and then the thoughts, and they go up. However, if we let go and bring our attention back to our awareness of our breath, chances are there's going to be some back and forth. We're going to go to the emotion and the thoughts associated with it. We're going to let go, come back, let go, come back, let go, come back, let go, come back. And that goes on its own little journey, and we stay with the breath until a new distraction comes. And that's really important because we begin to learn that those emotions come and go. And if we don't engage them in a habitual way of just sort of mindlessly fueling them with our thoughts and our chatter and getting all wrapped up in what's going on, we can come back to our center, our focus. And then we can choose to engage with that emotion and the content associated with that emotion, but from a place with a little bit of space and breath. Right? So we're not avoiding our emotions. We're not trying to clamp down or sort of stuff our emotions. We're actually allowing them to rise, go through a natural process, decline, let go, and come back. This is why I encouraged you to grab your notebooks, because what you want to do in this process, if you feel like this was a really important thing that came into your awareness, you just assure yourself that you're going to jot it down, journal, engage with it all that you need to when you're done with your meditation. If it's important, you won't forget. I will say, though, in the experience of my meditation practice, what I find is that many, many times I have some strong emotional reaction in the middle of my meditation. I note it, acknowledge, let it go, come back, and it never enters my mind again. Whatever it was some kind of just habitual engagement with thinking about the past or relationship stuff that really wasn't important. Sometimes it's like people at work or that I don't interact with often, some strange interaction I had at the grocery store. I get all puffy about it, and then, it never comes back. And so in my day-to-day life, I benefit from this because emotions can arise. I can recognize that arisal. I can center myself, acknowledge the emotion, disengage with the chatter that feeds it, let it take its course, and then come back and say, what's important here? How do I want to do this? Right? So that's the goal here. And what you might do also as the emotions go, one of the things that can be helpful to let them go is to name them. So if it's anger, you can just say, oh, anger. Let go of the attention, bring it back to your breath. Sadness, resentment. Usually the strong ones that distract us are negative emotions, right? In future videos, though, we're going to spend a lot of time cultivating positive emotions where we actually stay with that feeling and we condition or habituate the mind and heart to being in places like compassion and loving kindness. Right? But for now, we just want to learn how to recognize and let them go and surf the emotion, let it ride out, and then bring our attention back to the breath. I want to say also, just acknowledge that metaphor of surfing the emotion. A number of years ago, I worked with a group of researchers at the University of Washington who developed a meditation program to help with addiction. And they used the metaphor of surfing the urge, the craving, which is an emotional state. And they recognized that meditation can help people in this very same way with cravings to recognize they're having them and know that they will dissipate if you don't fuel them with thought. Right? So many benefits here. And so let's get into the practice. For this meditation, I'm going to set the intention of being more aware of my emotional state and practicing awareness and letting go so that I can have a better way of engaging with things in my life that cause emotions, which are very important and they're giving me important information, but not to react to them or act out of an automatic response, but to do so mindfully. So that's my intention, is to cultivate that ability for myself. I encourage you to cultivate your own motivation and prepare yourself to enter into the meditation practice. All right? So I'm not going to go through all of the instructions that I do in the other videos. I will go into a meditative state here now, and then I will invite you to pause the video to carry on your own as long as you can and as long as it feels good. and then hit start again, and we'll just have a little ending of the practice. All right. So go ahead and find your meditation posture. I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to enter into the practice of watching my breath. And I invite you to pause the video and practice your breathing meditation with special attention to emotions. Now very gently, just bring your attention back into your room and the space that you're in. Try not to just jump out of your meditation, but just calmly and gently bring your awareness back in. It's kind of like waking from a dream. If you just jump out of bed and engage with the day, that dream just immediately disappears. You can't recall what came to you in the dream nearly as easily. Similarly with meditation, if you just jump out of it, some of the subtle things that may have happened or come to you can just get buried. So it's good to practice gently coming out of your meditation. Reflect for a moment on what happened during that meditation. How did I feel when I started the meditation? Where was my mind, my energy, my heart? What happened as I was meditating? Where was my mind and going? Where kind of emotions were coming? And then, how do I feel right now? In doing that little reflection, you may think of interesting things. You may notice certain emotions that you struggle with that came up and went away. So jot down some notes. You might do it now. Again, you could pause the video. And then when you're done, take a moment and thank yourself for making the effort to fulfill your intention. So for me, I'm thanking myself for taking the time to work on the ability to be able to experience emotions in a healthy way and to be able to engage in them with some wisdom. Yeah. All right. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Good luck with your meditation.